Shout-outs. So let's go around the room. I want you to plug your own stuff, right? Because our plugs are our own thing. Nope. So plug your own stuff, but then I also want at least 3 things that aren't on the label that you're interested in right now that you'd like to give a shout out to.
Oh man. 3 things that we're interested in right now?
Yeah, like YouTube channels you're watching, Twitter feeds you're following, movies you've seen that are good, that sort of thing.
Man, I was so divorced from so much of this stuff right now.
All right, we're gonna you think about it. We'll go to Steven first because I know Steven can do this.
Well, first off, with the plug, I have to put out my own podcast, Escape from Ignorance. We've
Right.
already talked about it quite a bit, but you can find it on iTunes or Stitcher. You can also go online at escapefromignorance.com or on Facebook, or follow me on Twitter at the Irreverend W. As far as stuff I'm into, I have to give a shout out to Adam Ruins Everything. It is this spectacular show that is criminally underwatched, in which this very sweet geeky guy basically lays out how science destroys a huge number of our popular myths. He just did an episode about immigration that drops so much, like so many facts on you that just utterly contradicts the popular narratives about information coming from both sides of the political aisle, that every American owes it to themselves to watch this. Because if you're not talking about the subject of immigration without considering the facts that Adam presents, then nothing you are saying means anything. It was pretty astonishing.
Awesome. What else do you like?
There's a book that I just finished, and now this is extremely wonky. It's only for people that have a very serious interest in history, but it's called Proving History. It's by an author named Richard Carrier, who's a very respected historian, particularly in the realm of Jesus studies.
Yep.
And this book is about how do we know with any certainty what happened thousands of years ago. Like today, like future historians will have so much of an easier time with documenting this era because everyone and their dog has a camera.
Yeah.
Like they'll obviously it's hard to pin things down 100%, but they'll still potentially have a dozen different angles on every major world event. Pretty much from this point going forward, if we don't blow ourselves back to the Dark Ages.
Which is entirely possible.
But, and young people may not understand this, there was a time before cameras, right? There was a time when you didn't have a way to document things in an indisputable way.
True.
How do we know? You know, and like a core question of the book is, why does the majority of historians believe that King Arthur was just a myth, but accept that Socrates was a real person? And when you dig into that, there's really hardcore evidence that establishes why those things are true. So if you've ever wondered, how do we know anything about people that have been dead for 1,000 years, this book will explain the method of that.
Well, the King Arthur thing, like, there was a king named Arthur, but whether or not he was, you know, the myth evolved from that. But well, like, there's a historical figure of King Arthur, isn't there?
There was a time when all of the disparate tribes of Britain came together and formed a single nation. And that happened sometime between the 5th and 6th century. And there are various figures that could have been the king that did it all, or it could have been a variety of kings over a period. But when we talk about King Arthur, we imagine a very specific story with Uther Pendragon and the Sword and the Stone, and you know his son that turns against him, and the evil sorcerer, and all of that stuff.
And holy hand grenades.
Yeah, and Merlin, all of that. Every single popular detail can be traced back to a book written in the year 1138.
Yep.
And that's 500 years after Arthur was supposed to have lived, and there's no corroborating evidence in that 500-year span between there. Nothing. And it's like, you have to conclude when you know that this was just some guy making it up. You know, there might have been a real dude who actually united the Britons, but it's not the Arthur we know. He never really lived.
Well, I will let everybody leave a comment about whether or not they think King Arthur was real or not. And I think that's way better than the topic of religion. But, so leave a comment, let me know what you think. How about you? Do you have any plugs?
My plug.
Oh, it's Regal Cat.
It's Regal Cat.
Oh, show Regal Cat that camera.
No.
Oh, she does not want to be on camera.
You don't want to be.
She's been sitting on your lap, and now she's like, I don't want to be on camera.
I don't want to be disturbed.
Okay, let her
Okay.
down. Let her down.
She's sitting so good.
On the plus side, she's on the Freeform Fridays.
She is.
The hashtag Regal Cat editions. She's in the back of it.
Have I been forgiven? Come here.
No, leave her on the floor. She's just gonna jump back down. So, what about plugs? What shout outs? What do you like?
Well, right now I'm really digging stellar astronomy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what is that? Is it a book, TV show?
It's the class I'm taking.
Ah, a class. Well, that is an excellent class.
It is an excellent class, as is organic chemistry.
As is organic chemistry at Austin Community College.
Yes.
I'm sure there's really good professors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they're woefully undercompensated for doing that work.
They get paid more than they do at UT.
Isn't that sad?
That's very sad.
Because UT costs a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm. It
Huh.
all goes to football.
What else? Any other plugs? Or shout outs?
I'd like to give a shout out to Sprouts for making excellent gummy worms.
Sprouts, a regional. I think they're regional, aren't they?
No, I think they're national. Or semi-national, or...
They compete with Trader Joe's, Whole Foods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is. We're kind of having a renaissance in that organic, in the grocery store realm. When I was growing up, we had two, and you went to either ShopRite or A&P, and if they both sucked, they both sucked. You know, and now there's all these grocery stores everywhere. That might just be Austin, though.
Maybe.
Let me know how many grocery stores you have near you in the comments. All right. So, plugs. What am I plugging? We got the Jazz Destroyer stuff. We're doing Mozart's here coming up. Just go to the Facebook page. I'll put up all the dates. We play a lot of dates. We're doing Highball. We just picked Highball up on November 5th. I think it's the 5th. It's that Saturday.
Yes.
That's going to be our birthday bash. I'm turning 33. Tom's turning 48. Yeah, because we did that one show where Dale was 60, Tom turned 45, and I had turned 30.
Yep.
And, oh, look at that. If I let it sit long enough, that comes up. All right. So there's those. There's the records, obviously. You should totally check out the Bandcamp. You can listen to everything in its entirety for free. All right, put her down. She doesn't want any part of that. Leave Regal Cat alone.
Had to try.
She's not gonna. She'll either cooperate or she won't.
Most cats don't like to be picked up.
No, Pumpkin though. If Pumpkin comes in here and he gets picked up, he will be just the cutest thing you've ever seen. But he probably won't come in.
She's usually okay with being picked up.
Yeah. There's a couple shout-outs I want to give out, which are the End of the World Orchestra. My buddy Matt Butler, he played with us on the Freeform Fridays, that first one that came out, or the first one we recorded at Kenny Dorham's. That's really going to be an exciting, interesting project. I want to give a shout-out to my buddies in Atlas Mayor. Atlas Mayor is a really good Middle Eastern fusion band. Joshua Thompson, who's been in some of the videos, so you guys haven't worked on any of the videos he's been in, I don't think. But Greg knows Josh, because Josh was on Thunderwake. And I guess the third would be, I want to give a shout out to Jesse Thunderwake American Icon, which Greg directed and I produced. And it's available on YouTube for free. That's censored and has ads, or you can watch it on Amazon Prime. Can we do Prime now? No, we're not Prime yet.
No.
I thought we'd gotten that worked out.
We gotta work out. They only do HD in Prime, which we didn't even shoot in HD,
That's true.
and it needs open captions, which we don't have.
If anybody wants to caption Jesse Thunderwake, we would really thoroughly appreciate it. It's funny. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's about as long as this podcast, though.
About 90 minutes.
About
I
90
think
minutes.
it's 97.
And the credits are too long, but we did something fun for the YouTube credits.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Greg, all right. So we've circled back around to you.
Right.
Now you understand what we're doing.
I already plugged Donald Trump and the Hairpiece of Evil pretty
Yes.
thoroughly there. So submit, and you already plugged Jesse Thunderwake American Icon, so I might as well plug In Nightmares We're Alone. This was a book that I wrote before the Trump novel. This was written back, I finished it up in like October of last year for Halloween. It's sort of 3 interconnected horror stories that I started out just writing it as 3 novellas that had nothing to do with each other, and I was going to package them together as sort of a little trilogy of terror. And I came to start blending them together into this thing that I think they add up to something more than the sum of its parts, but you can judge that if you read it yourself. As far as plugging other stuff that I've been watching or doing or obsessed with lately, I really enjoyed the new Doug Stanhope special that was put up on CISO recently. I can't get the name of that special right now, but
we'll dredge up a link for the description.
Yeah, that was that was just a very enjoyable comedy special that does sort of, if you know Doug Stanhope, kind of the typical stuff that he does, where it's extremely offensive and bothersome, but really tears apart like pieces of our social culture and stuff that a lot of comedians wouldn't touch. I'm gonna give a shout out to this isn't any kind of specific person or something, but lately I've been really obsessed with reading all of these like Reddit. They call it creepypasta. It's like the no sleep forum on Reddit where people just write these. I mean, in general, it's done as like people trying to write, people claiming that this is creepy stuff that really happened to them. I believe maybe 10% of them, but a lot of them make for really enjoyable reads. They're really fun, and I could see how it would be a fun creative process too. I might duck into that at some point in the future. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Double Dave's Pizza.
Really?
Double Dave's.
Yeah. They're right across the street from my house, which makes them extremely convenient, and they got a delicious buffet where they have incredible Philly cheesesteak calzone. So
I'm astonished that you don't look like me the way you eat. You know, I've been losing weight and
I've been gaining weight.
yeah, there we go.
We'll meet up somewhere in the middle there.
We'll meet up, and it'll just be a big pile of sad, fat man. All right. Next section.